Hi mga kawawmat! In this video tutorial, we will be discussing the properties of operations on integers. So what will be our objectives? So first, we will state and illustrate the different properties of operations on integers, and we will try to rewrite the given expressions according to the given property. So this video tutorial is actually the part 1 of the properties on integers. Kasi masyado siyang marami, so hahatiin natin siya. Okay, let's have the first property. So we have the closure property. So what do we mean by closure property? So these are two integers represented by a and b that are added and multiplied will remain as integers. So what do we mean by this? Let's have an example. So if I have a plus b and a and b are integers, the resulting sum is also an integer. And then if you will be multiplying two integers also, a times b, the resulting product must be an integer. Okay, let's have an example. If I have 3 plus 5 is equal to 8, so we all know that 3 is an integer, 5 is an integer, and the result or the sum is also an integer. Now, for multiplication, 3 times 5 is equal to 15, 3 is an integer, 5 is also an integer, and 15 is also an integer. Therefore, closure property is true under addition and subtraction. Therefore, we have closure property of addition and closure property of multiplication. Okay. Is the set of integers closed under subtraction? If I have a minus b, will the resulting difference be also an integer? Let's see. So if I have 3 minus 5 is equal to negative 2. So if this is an integer, 5 is also an integer, the resulting difference is also an integer. Subukan nating pagpalitin. If I have 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. 5 is an integer, 3 is also an integer, and the resulting difference is also an integer. So therefore, is it true that subtraction we have closure property under subtraction? Yes, it is also closed under subtraction. So, closure property is true under subtraction. Okay? Now, how about in division? Okay, let's have an example. If I have 16 divided by 4, the resulting quotient is 4. And 4 is an integer. Okay, so pagpalitin natin sila, 4 divided by 16, that is 1/4, right? And 1/4 is not an integer. So therefore, closure property is not true under division. Okay, another property is we have the commutative property. What do we mean by commutative property? This is where we are changing the order. Take note of the word order of the addends or factors, and it does not affect the result. Anong ibig sabihin nun? The result is not changing. Okay? So, let's have an example. If I have a plus b, pag binaliktad daw natin siya, yung order niya, ginawa nating b plus a, they are still equal daw. So, mamaya magbibigay ako ng example if this is true under addition. If commutative property is true under addition. Now, for multiplication, if I have a times b is equal to b times a, pag binaliktad ba natin siya, equal pa rin kaya sila? So, let us see. Let's have an example if commutative property is true under multiplication. So, I have here 3 plus 5. So, let us try to interchange. So, I have here 5 plus 3. So, this is an example of commutative property. Now, 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. And 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. What have you noticed? They are still equal. Another example, I have 3 plus the quantity of 5 plus 2. So, paano natin to gagawing commutative property? So, etong 5 plus 2, since naka-group siya, ilalagay lang natin siya dun sa unahan, and then si 3, ililipat naman natin siya sa kabila. Okay, so pinagpalit natin yung order niya, yung pwesto. Nauna si 5 plus 2, and then nasa pangalawang place na si positive 3. Okay, so let us add. This will become 7. And 7 plus 3, that is 10. This is 7. 7 plus 3, that is also 10. And as you can see, they are still equal. So this is an example of commutative property under addition. Let's have multiplication. So I have here 3 times 5. Baliktarin natin. 5 times 3. So let's see. 3 times 5 is equal to 15. 5 times 3 is equal to 15. Are they equal? Are they the same? Yes. Okay. Next. 2 times the quantity of 3 times 4. So, kapag gagawin natin siyang commutative property, mag-uuna si 3 times 4 times 2. So, pinagpapalit natin yung kanyang order. Now, let's see if commutative property is true under multiplication. So, 3 times 4 is equal to 12 times 2, that is 24. On the other side, 3 times 4, that is 12, times 2, that is also 24. So, they are still equal. So, therefore, commutative property is true under addition. That's why we have commutative property of addition. And also, it is true under multiplication. So, commutative property of multiplication. So, kapag sumasagot tayo ng mga properties, let us try to be specific. Saan? Saan siya commutative? Is it under addition or multiplication? Okay, next. Let's have the third property, associative property. Kung ang commutative property is changing the order, now, this time, we are changing the groupings. Okay? Yung group. Paano ba natin malalaman na nakagroup siya? Kapag ginagamitan siya ng brackets or parenthesis. So, tatandaan na kapag groupings ang pinag-uusapan natin, ginagamitan siya ng brackets or parenthesis. Okay? So, again, what is associative property? This is where we are changing the grouping of the addends or factors, but it does not affect the result. We can still come up with the same result. Okay? Ano yung result? Yung sum and product. Okay? So, let's have the representation. So, if I have A plus B plus C, what do we mean by grouping? So, ibig sabihin dito, ito yung nakagroup niya. So, ang nakagroup dito ay A plus B. Kung i-apply natin ang associative property, as you can see, ang nakagroup na ngayon ay yung B plus C. So, dito, A plus B, on the right side of the equation, ang magkasama na ay si B plus C. So, anong ginamit dito? Brackets. Okay? Sometimes they are using parentheses. Okay? Now, so, this one naman, eto sa addition to ha, and then this one in multiplication, so ganun din. A times B, sila yung magkasama. On the right side of the equation, ang magkasama na o yung nakagroup ay B times C. So, this is what do we mean by grouping. So, yung kanina, yung commutative property, pinagpapalit natin ng pwesto. Etong A plus B, nilagay lang siya dito yung A plus B, tapos si C, siya yung nandito. Okay? And then this time, we are changing the groupings. Let's have an example. So if I have here the quantity of 3 plus 5 plus 2, so this is addition ha, paano natin i-apply yung associative property dito? So kung sa left side of the equation natin, magkasama si 3 plus 5. Pagdating sa right side of the equation, 3 plus the quantity of 5 plus 2. Ang magkasama na ngayon ay yung 5 plus 2. So, tingnan mabuti. Tingnan mabuti yung groupings nila. Nagbago. Okay? So, let us solve. 3 plus 5 is equal to 8 plus 2. And then on the right side of the equation, we have 3. 5 plus 2, that is 7. Now, kung mapapansin nyo, magkaiba sila. Okay? Let's see if they are still equal under associative property. So, 8 plus 2, that is 10. 3 plus 7, that is also 10. Now, what have you noticed? They are still equal. Okay, so therefore, associative property is true under addition. Let's have multiplication. So I have here the quantity of 2 times 3 times 4. So, kung i-apply natin ang associative property, that will become 2 times, ito na ngayon ang magka-group, si 3 times 4. Okay? So, let us solve. 2 times 3, that is 6. And then bring down 4 equals 2 times 3 times 4, that is 12. Okay, so magkaiba ulit sila. But let's see if we will still get the same answer. So, 6 times 4, that is 24. 2 times 12, that is also 24. And they are equal. So, therefore, we have associative property of addition. So, be specific. And associative property of multiplication. Bakit meron tayong associative property sa addition and multiplication? Kasi kagaya ng examples ko, true sila. Okay. Let's have the fourth property, which is the distributive property. From the word distribute, ibibigay mo siya sa bawat isa. Okay? So, for any integers A, B, and C, so A, B, and C are integers. Now, if I have here A times the quantity of B plus C, si A, ita-times mo kay B, that's why we have A times B. And then si A ulit, ita-times natin kay C, that's why we have A times C. Now, this is addition because the operation here is addition. And then, sa subtraction, A times B, that's why we have A times B, and then A again, times C, that's why we have A times C. And then now, this time, this is subtraction because this is subtraction. Let's have an example. So, if I have here negative 6 times the quantity of 5 plus 3, how are we going to illustrate distributive property here? So, negative 6 times 5, ganyan ang gagawin natin. Doon muna siya sa first integer natin. So, we will have negative 6 times 5. Let's have the next one. Negative 6 times 3. So, ito yon. Negative 6 times 3. Take note of your operation because this is addition. Now, let us solve. So, we have negative 6 times 5, that is negative 30. And then, negative 6 times 3, that is negative 18. So, plus negative 18. Now, kung babalikan natin yung rules natin ng pag-add ng integers, same sign, diba? Same sign, add and keep. So, same sign, i-add natin. So, that is negative 48. Now, let us see. Tingnan nga natin kung makukuha natin ng negative 48 kung hindi natin gagamitan ng distributive property. So, ito yung original, diba? So, let us see kung negative 48. So, 5 plus 3, that is 8. And then, bring down negative 6. Now, negative 6 times 8, that is negative 48. So, as you can see, using distributive property, ganun pa rin ang makukuha nating sagot. So, therefore, distributive property under addition is true. Let's have subtraction. So, we have 4 times 4, and then 4 times 2. Now, take note of your operation. This is already subtraction. So, 4 times 4, that is 16. And then 4 times 2, that is 8. So, 16 minus 8, that is 8. Now, let's see, without using distributive property. So, bring down 4. And then 4 minus 2, that is 2. So, 4 times 2, that is 8. So, this is what we call distributive property. Okay. Use distributive property to find each product. Actually, we can also apply distributive property when we are multiplying numbers. Okay? So, like this. So, yung kapag medyo we cannot solve numbers mentally, we can apply distributive property. How? So, if I have here 8 times 13, we can have it 8 times 10 plus 3. Since 10 plus 3 is equal to 13. Okay? So, paano natin gagawin? Apply natin ang distributive property. So, 8 times 10 and 8 times 3. Okay, let's solve. So, 8 times 10, that is 80. Plus, 8 times 3, that is 24. Let us add. So, that is 104. So, 8 times 13 is equal to 104. Another example. So, pwede natin i-apply ang distributive property dito. If you cannot solve, or if you cannot multiply numbers mentally, pwede naman. Okay, so 7 times 100 plus 4, since 100 plus 4 is 104. So we have 7 times 100 and 7 times 4. Okay, so let us solve. 7 times 100, that is 700. And 7 times 4, that is 28. So we have 728. 7 times 104 is equal to 728. Okay, the next three properties will be discussed on the next video. So, sa part 2 ng ating video tutorial, nandoon yung tatlong properties na karugtong o continuation nitong video na ito. So, please do watch the second part of this properties of operations on integers.